Why does a narcissist suddenly shift from charm to cruelty when you begin to change? Why do they turn more manipulative, not less, the moment you reclaim your voice? Carl Jung believed that true transformation threatens not only the individual undergoing change, but also the people who once depended on your weakness to maintain control. And this is especially true for narcissists. They don't fear rejection or even abandonment as much as they fear one. Terrifying truth: your strength means they no longer own you, and in that moment, they don't simply let go. They launch what Jung's work helps us identify as one final, highly calculated form of manipulation. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and join our Telegram community, where you'll receive early access to videos like this and deeper insights into psychological and spiritual self-mastery. Now let's explore what happens when the narcissist senses they've lost control, and how their last trick can be the most dangerous of all. Carl Jung understood the narcissist's collapse, the human psyche as a constant dance between the conscious self and what he called the shadow, the hidden, repressed aspects of our identity that we refuse to confront. For narcissists, the shadow is often unbearable. It contains deep-seated fears of inadequacy, inferiority, and emotional emptiness, so instead of integrating it, they project it outward, usually onto the people closest to them. As long as you're uncertain emotionally, dependent, or seeking their validation, you serve their psychological structure. Perfectly, you carry their shadow for them, but the moment you begin to reclaim yourself, when you say no, when you set boundaries, when you start trusting your instincts instead of their approval, something ruptures. What Jung described as individuation, the process of becoming whole, marks a turning point for you. It's healing for them. It's a crisis. Your independence threatens the illusion of superiority they've worked so hard to construct, and rather than confront their own lack of growth, the narcissist will fight to drag you back into the role you've outgrown. The battle has shifted. This is no longer about affection or attention. It's about control, and control lost always seeks revenge, weaponizing your growth. When charm and flattery fail, narcissists often pivot to something far more insidious, attacking the very qualities in you that represent progress. This is where Jung's theory of projection takes on a new dimension. You're no longer the blank canvas for their insecurity. You've become a threat to the fantasy they maintain about themselves. They begin targeting your growth. If you've learned to stand firm, they accuse you of being cold. If you assert your needs, they call you selfish. If you speak with clarity, they claim you're aggressive or controlling. These aren't random insults, they are surgical strikes against your most sacred victories. This tactic, known in modern psychology as strength shaming, was anticipated by Jung long before the term existed. He recognized that when someone is living from a place of ego inflation, they cannot tolerate what they refuse to develop in themselves, so they attack it in others. And this is where many people relapse, not because they're weak, but because the attack is aimed with terrifying precision. It makes you question whether your evolution has made you too much. But this confusion is by design, because if the narcissist can't dominate you through praise, they'll try to dismantle you through shame. But if that still doesn't work, they'll stop attacking your strength and start pulling you backward with something even more disorienting: nostalgia, the illusion of the past. When criticism no longer destabilizes you, the narcissist often reaches for a subtler tool, one that seems harmless on the surface but is equally manipulative: the selective rewriting of history. Jung noted that the unconscious mind does not differentiate well between past and present. The narcissist uses this to their advantage, attempting to regress your psyche by emotionally transporting you back to the version of yourself they could control. You were so much happier before all this therapy. I miss how connected we were before you got so distant. Remember when you used to laugh at my jokes? This is nostalgic manipulation. It's not about honoring shared memories. It's about triggering doubt in your own evolution, doubt in your new self. But make no mistake, they don't miss you. They miss the power they had over you. They miss the dynamic where your silence ensured their comfort, where your guilt ensured your obedience. And if you're not grounded, this tactic can work, not because it's true, but because it taps into your humanity. You remember being close. You remember wanting peace, but what they offer isn't peace. It's control disguised as comfort. When even the illusion of love fails to bring you back, they turn to their most manipulative tactic of all. Before we go on, if this video is helping you understand your experience more, clearly consider sharing it with someone who needs it. And if you'd like to support this kind of thoughtful, in-depth content, click the thanks button below. Every gesture of support helps us continue bringing you the kind of insights that matter. And now let's move forward. Manufactured vulnerability. At this stage, the narcissist is no longer concerned with appearing right. They're focused on appearing wounded, and that shift is intentional. Jung understood that people who suppress their shadow often resort to performance. When they lose control, suddenly the narcissist is in crisis. They're overwhelmed, broken, vulnerable. Maybe it's a health scare, a financial collapse, a family tragedy. They don't know where else to turn, and you're the only one they trust. But here's what makes this tactic so sinister. It's not always fake. The pain may be real, but the timing is not. Narcissists are highly attuned to your emotional triggers, especially guilt and compassion. They keep mental notes of what causes you to step back into the caretaker role, and when all other tactics fail, they will manufacture or magnify a crisis that forces you to choose between your boundaries and your empathy. Jung called for the development of what he termed differentiated compassion, the ability to feel for others without sacrificing the self. The narcissist wants you to conflate the two. They want your help, yes, but only if it means proving that your growth is still negotiable. I know you said you needed space, but this is different. I know you don't usually lend money, but I'm desperate. Can't you just help me this one time? Each of these pleas of your kindness, but of your sovereignty. The goal isn't support, it's submission. And if you give in, the cycle begins again. Freedom through awareness. Carl Jung believed that the real journey of the human psyche was toward wholeness. Individuation, in his view, was the sacred task of becoming fully oneself, beyond ego, beyond shame, beyond manipulation. Every time you resist these final tactics, you affirm that journey. You prove that your strength was not a phase. It was a homecoming. The narcissist's desperation is not a reflection of your cruelty, but of their loss of control, and in that loss, they are forced to face the very emptiness they've tried to cover with manipulation. Your job is not to fix them. Your task is not to regress to who you were. Your task is to stay awake, stay rooted, and stay aligned with who you are becoming. If this resonated with you, leave a comment below. Tell us what part of this rang true for your experience, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to Mental Dose for more grounded, psychologically rich content that honors your growth. Until